Hello, my name is Emily Miller. I'm an undergraduate researcher in the College of Human Sciences. Today, we will talk about children's play spaces and their emotion regulation. This is a project I've been working on with Dr. Melinda Caldwell. Something we know is that play is essential to a child's learning. Play is how children learn about and interpret the world around them. Play is associated with social skills, emotion regulation, and socio emotional development. I was curious if the space a child had to play in had any effect on the frequency with which they played or on their emotion regulation, which brought me to my research question. How is a child's play environment and the amount they play associated with emotion regulation? This is a question I proposed in my study that was approved by the Texas Tech IRB. I approached this question by looking at emotion regulation, or emotional self awareness and the ability to express emotions in a socially constructive way. For example, a child with emotion regulation skills would be able to recover from negative emotions in a socially acceptable way. And lability negativity, something that is likely to undergo change in a disagreeable way. For the purposes of my study, this is defined as a child's emotional volatility. This would refer to a child's impulsivity, emotional outbursts, and mood swings. My survey was conducted via Qualtrics and consisted of the measures Hop Up and Emotion Regulation Checklist. Hop Up, or Home Opportunities for Physical Activity Checkup, examines the environment a child has for play. It asks questions such as, the yard or area outside our home has plenty of room for my kids to actively play games like tag or chase. Or questions like, how often do your kids run around and burn off energy inside your home? The outdoor areas in my neighborhood where my kids play actively are safe. They rated this on a Likert scale from strongly disagree to strongly agree. My other measure was emotion regulation checklist, which examines emotion regulation and lability negativity by asking participants if their child can modulate excitement in emotionally arousing situations, if the child exhibits wide mood swings, or if they're easily frustrated. It also asks if the child is empathetic towards others. The survey was shared via Facebook and TechAnnounce and used snowball sampling to gain participants. I received 50 responses from various parents and guardians, 48 mothers, one father, and one other adult. And I collected responses on 25 boys and 25 girls, ranging in age from 3 to 8. I had 23 and 4-year-olds, 17 5 and 6-year-olds, and 13 7 and 8-year-olds. They came from 9 families making less than $55,000 per year, 17 families making between $55,000 and $100,000 per year, and 24 families making more than $100,000 per year. Here are some of my results. In the Hop Up measure, one of my favorite questions was one that asked participants to measure the area that their children had to play indoors in terms of a child's cartwheel. Think about the areas inside the home where your kids run around and burn off energy. How many somersaults or cartwheels can they do in a row without hitting furniture? The mean number of cartwheels that children could do inside their indoor play areas was 5.48 cartwheels. Isn't that a really cool unit of measure? They were asked to rank these on a scale from 0 cartwheels to 10 cartwheels, so that is a finding above average. Another question that was asked on the Hop Up measure was, think about all balls, tricycles, bicycles, scooters, jump ropes, and toys that help your child run around and burn off energy inside your home. How many of these does your child have? Again, on a scale from 0 toys to 10 toys, my sample was above average with 6.16 toys. And I would like to note that the results I'm presenting today are from data most related to the research question, not all of the data that was collected. Per my research question, how is a child's play environment and the amount they play associated with their emotion regulation? I found a correlation between their outdoor environment being safe and emotion regulation in both boys and girls. I also found a negative association with having space to play both indoors and outdoors associated with lability negativity. When lability negativity has a negative correlation or association, that means that the child has more control over widely swinging emotions. In this case, a negative correlation with having space to play means that children with space to play, both indoors and outdoors, had more control over the volatility of their emotions. For girls specifically, I found that having plenty of toys for outdoor play and having safe places to play with those toys had a positive correlation with emotion regulation. Having space to play negatively associated with lability negativity. Having space outdoors was significant to the 0.05 level, while having space for girls to play both indoors and outdoors had a negative correlation to the 0.01 significance level. What this means is that while it is important for a girl to have space to play outdoors to relieve some lability negativity, having space indoors and outdoors has a much more significant association with control over emotional outbursts and mood swings. There's only one significant correlation for boys, which was a negative association between the lability negativity of boys and the number of cartwheels they can do uninterrupted in their indoor play space. So, for boys, the larger their indoor play areas, the more control they had over their impulsivity and emotional outbursts. I also found a significant difference in the mean levels of lability negativity or emotional volatility of girls and boys, with boys having a higher mean than girls. Boys in this study were more likely to display impulsivity, wide mood swings, and emotional outbursts. However, I found no such significant difference in the mean levels of emotion regulation for girls and boys. So why does this study matter? Well, the knowledge of the association between lability, negativity, and having space for a child to play can inform city officials and planners on the importance of prioritizing play spaces. Knowing the role that safe places for a child to play has in that child's emotion regulation can influence the development of programs and outreach. If youth in the community have safe places to play and learn emotion regulation, they will have less behavior problems as youth. This continues following them, making for adults who have more control of their emotions in socially acceptable ways and are less likely to be impulsive or exhibit emotional outbursts. This can also affect public education. If educators and government officials are aware of the impact play has on emotion regulation and lability negativity, they can prioritize learning through play in the classroom and playtime in curriculum standards. If students have more playtime, their increased ability to regulate their emotions contributes to how they are accepted by their peers. Peer acceptance can make a child more comfortable in the classroom, leading to less behavior problems, happier teachers, and youth who overall exhibit better emotion regulation and less lability negativity. More personally, as a student who would like to become a pediatric occupational therapist, knowledge of the variance of boys and girls' lability negativity will be important when I work with patients who struggle with emotion regulation. I can better tailor therapeutic approaches to each child. So, what I would like for you to take away from today: having a safe place to play is associated with emotion regulation for both girls and boys. For girls, having plenty of toys to play with outdoors is also positively associated with emotion regulation. Having adequate space to play, both indoors and outdoors, is negatively associated with lability negativity, or negatively associated with volatile emotions. I also found significant difference in the levels of lability negativity for boys and girls. Per my question, how is a child's play environment and the amount they play associated with their emotion regulation? I was also looking to see an association between the amount of play a child participates in and the emotion regulation or lability negativity. However, no such correlations were found. Future research could further examine the difference in lability negativity between boys and girls. If you have any questions beyond what I covered here today, please feel free to reach out to me at the email listed below. And if you'd like a closer look at my poster, it is linked down below. Thank you for your time.